let's get very, very broad. What is your favorite movie overall? Your go-to? Or any number of them, like if you don't have an overall favorite.
I have a few movies I like to go to. I do like to watch a really, really deep guilty pleasure for me is like Chud.
Okay.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. It's just very fun. It's very B-movie. It's like exactly what I want. Like I do like a good monster movie. Like I like Godzilla. I like stupid things like that. So I like a good monster movie. What else do I did really enjoy Green Room. I thought that was very, really dynamic. It was I like the way they just set up the whole situation. It seemed very, like, because at first the movie seems, like, kind of nonsensical. Like, it seems very directionless, and, like, you're just kind of, like, following this band, and you're like, I don't really know. Like, am I watching a movie? Mm-hmm. You're like, or is this just, like, a weird, like, MTV doc? And then, like, once it hits, it starts to hit harder. Yeah. And I think that pacing really helps to it. So I like a movie that has like a decent pace to it and like just like a good feel. Mm-hmm. There's I do like a lot of international films, so I'm a big fan of like the Old Boy trilogy, like Lady Vengeance and like stuff like that.
We actually talked about Old Boy in a previous episode. It hasn't aired yet at the time of this recording, but I'll send you
with the Parasite one.
Yeah, with the Parasite. Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet though. I think I'll be a really big fan of that.
Yeah, Parasite is fantastic. Yeah, definitely watch that movie before you listen to that. Like shameless self promotion, but yeah, check that movie out for sure. It's one of the best. I kind of when I saw The Lighthouse, I was like, definitely favorite of the year. Nothing's gonna top this. But when the shit starts to hit the fan in Parasite, I was like, oh well, maybe
this is delicious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's perfect in a lot of like the twisted ways that you described. So I think it's right up your alley.
Probably, unfortunately. That's what I have been, like, I've had phases in my life, like, especially through horror, I've had, like, a lot of phases. When I was younger, I was really into, like, monster movies and slasher movies. Mm-hmm. And then when I kind of, like, got into, like, my high school years, I'd watch things like Grotesque and, like, I've seen Serbian film and, like, stupid shit like that. Right. So, like, I have an appreciation for lots of different kind of horror. So, like, a lot of horror movies are close to my heart. I do enjoy Halloween because I remember watching, like, AMC. They had that whole little jingle about Michael Myers and they'd play the movies, like 31 Days of Michael Myers.
Right.
I do love Jason also. Like, I think it's like New Blood is one of my favorites because it has the girl. She's like psychic powers. Like, I was sick. I don't know. I'd like a good time and like a fun time. I've admired a lot of like Sam Raimi, like Evil Dead. Mm-hmm. So it's just sort of like a mission. I like a lot of movies.
So I'm gonna guess Evil Dead 2 is your favorite of the three, or Army of Darkness?
I'm an Evil Dead 2. I do like the more, I wouldn't say based in reality, but like based in the same universe, as the first one.
It's not as off the wall.
Yeah,
right?
Army of Darkness is fun, don't get me wrong, but it is I think that was them having fun. That was like a guilty pleasure. They were like, we're going to make this and we're going to like it if no one else likes it.
Right. So yeah, like campy horror movies, right up your alley.
And then I do like things that are a bit more avant-garde. Like I remember The Weeknd. I really got into Jean-Luc Godard through that. Some French new wave cinema. Other than that, I've been really into animation lately. That's why I kind of like brought up animation at first. Mm-hmm. Because I have been just like very interested in it. I think it's a lot harder to develop a universe that way, and I think it's a really interesting to see how the obstacles of them as writers compared to script writers.
Right, yeah.
Because I think they have a bit more to work with, but I don't think that's also always the best thing when you have so much wide space and like so much range, and like it's also very competitive because you are trying to capture like maybe a target audience, but that target audience might not end up being who's watching, because sometimes people make like cartoons for like younger kids and then like these whole group of like 17 to like 24-year-old or like Teen Titans. Like Teen Titans had a very like and then there was Young Justice. I was very into Young Justice.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It was really, if you like comic books, you'll really get a good, like, they put a lot of care into it. And there's a lot of characters you don't usually see, which I thought was cool, especially someone who is a bit more familiar, more so with DC. What else? I don't know.
No, that's a pretty good coverage. I guess I should have asked this one earlier because we had a perfect segue just now, but going back, I've asked it consistently to every guest I've had on who is kind of like in a media related endeavor in life. I find, I touched on this in the first episode a little bit, and in the third episode, because we had the guy on who directly had that moment for me, but I think that anyone who wants to do like movies or media or anything like that for a living, they all kind of have like, they're like inherently interested in like the art of storytelling or like making movies, but there's always like the one moment or like the one movie that they saw where they were like, yep, that's what I want to do. That's I know now that that's what I have to do in my life. For me, it was watching Kevin Smith's Red State in high school.
Really?
At like midnight at like a party with my friend's house. So that was like when I saw that, I was like, man, that's I want to direct that. That's a guy who knows how to make a good movie. So, what, do you have a moment like that or a movie like that?
I got into this on a whim. A friend of mine and I don't know why, like she was very interested in making like video projects for school, and one day I was just like, all right, I'll help you. And we made up a stupid superhero for like a science project called Captain Bromine. And like I was like, oh, I really want to do this. So like I kind of like helped myself along that way. But like once I got to college, I saw like a few like Wrong Cops. Wrong Cops like really was like, yeah, like this is like really weird. Like I really like this. Like maybe I can be this. And like Lars von Trier, like I did watch like Antichrist. I was like, oh, I'm like, this is movie. A whole different kind of level of like filmmaking. Like this is something a bit more like avant-garde, like a bit more, it's still brutal, but like it looked beautiful, it was very well acted, like it was a tragedy, it was great. It was like a whole mess. The Invitation also really inspired me because especially the setup, like Johnson did tell me about it before, like it kind of got like really big, and he's like, you may not like it because it's by the lady who did Jennifer's Body, and I'm like, why do people talk shit about Jennifer's? Why do people assume I don't like Jennifer's Body? Like, why is that always like an assumption about me? I don't know why that assumption's wrong.
I think that's kind of an assumption in general, because I mean, the first time, like I at least from my own experience, the first time I heard that premise, I was like, oh, okay, like that really, that's what we're gonna do. And then I watched it and I was like, okay, that has its place. That's not
it
bad.
had its moment,
yeah,
and it kind of missed its moment. But I think she definitely came back super hard with Invitation. I think that was really cool to see, like, her just grow in such... they weren't really super close together, but such in a short, like, amount of time to totally, like, flip her whole storytelling sort of scene. Not saying the content was wrong with, like, Jennifer's Body, but it's interesting to see how she elevated herself.
It's definitely, like, because we keep on talking, like, it's... Jennifer's Body is like a very, very B movie. Like, and it's a matter of going from that B movie to an A movie,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not necessarily like you said. It's not as though this should be looked down upon. It should be looked at like, okay, we shouldn't hold this to the same standard as we hold the Invitation.
They had different intents.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like people didn't get Adam Wingard's You're Next. Like, I've ran into a lot of people who are really mad, and they're like, that was fucking stupid. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, it was like campy, it was fun, and like, I also have a lot of respect for Adam Wingard and like Simon Barrett, like VHS. I don't know what, like, Death Note was bad.
Yeah,
but VHS.
VHS is great.
VHS is great.
It has a lot of. I'm not a huge fan. I'm more of a fan of the second one than
with
the first
zombies.
one. Yeah, I really like I feel like the second one is more consistently great than the first one is, if that makes any sense.
It has more hits.
Right, yeah. I think from the first one, I really like the, I don't remember the names of the segments, but the one with the spyglasses in the motel room with the I like you, that
the
girl.
Succubus.
Yeah. That's easily, I think, the best segment in that entire, I think that's the one they start on, too.
That is the start
which kind of made me mad, because I was like, that's the, like, you...
I don't even remember actually which ones were in that one. It was that one.
There's that one. There's the they follow it up with the one where it's like the couple on vacation and there's someone stalking them. That one's really good.
That one too. There's that weird. No, is that the second one? No, that was ABC's of Death with that weird one where he's on the balcony and like the prostitute like stabs him or something.
Yeah. But yeah, the first one had that segment. The stalker. the sort of Friday the 13th. No, it was literally called. That's the one I remember. Tuesday the 14th.
With the
glitchy guy.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was. It got kind of dumb.
It got that one was one where I
the concept was good.
Concept was good, but it got very dumb when they get up there and she's like,
they started
all
talking.
Die up here. Yeah.
When they started talking, you were just kind of like. Meh.
Right. Yeah. And it's what else was in it? There's that one where it's like Halloween and like those people go to like that house and it's empty and there's like a weird like a seance or something going on in the attic. I really liked that one.
I don't remember that one.
It's like
now I have to watch VHS.
Yeah, VHS is a great horror movie. If you haven't seen it, but yeah, the second one I find had way more, like you said, consistently good moments in it. The only like. We mentioned Adam Wingard.
He had the only bad one.
Like is his segment.
He did have the only bad one.
So yeah, Adam Wingard. It's funny that like his segment is kind of like the worst of that entire movie. But yeah, that VHS. I'd recommend both of them. I wasn't a huge fan of VHS Viral. Did you see that one?
It was dumb.
Yeah.
It was. You know, I thought it had an interesting kind of like the A story. Like. Yeah. The in between the segments, it was kind of like interesting, but then it just kind of really went nowhere. Like it kind of just went around in circles. I felt and like
I think that's the problem with the A story in all three of them. The segments are way better than what connects each of them. The first one especially, I thought was really weak.
It was weird, and it seemed like that was a very 2000. Like I don't know why it seemed very like Jackass, like 2000, like weird 20-year-old boys with a video camera doing weird stuff.
I feel like the best one probably out of all was the second one. I think
the house
second one,
yeah,
it was easily that one overall is I think the best in the series.
It made the most sense.
Which isn't really saying much because it's still very ridiculous by the time you find out what's actually going on. But I feel like it had the best like payoff. You know what I mean? Like when the kid does and then 2 seconds later you see them come in from the beginning and like that
it had a full circle moment. Right, you're like,
damn it! Like, but
we've been tricked.
It was VHS 2. It was a great movie.